I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed. I was growing a human inside.
In the interview, she openly admitted that during her pregnancy, she hid, and that single word immediately stopped people in their tracks. Hiding is not something most people associate with pregnancy, especially not in public life. That comment alone raised eyebrows and quietly set off alarms online. Once the clip began circulating, questions followed quickly. Some started wondering whether Erika Kirk could have quietly placed children for adoption if a surrogate situation ever exposed a fake pregnancy claim. It sounds extreme at first, but that idea did not appear out of nowhere. For months, people were not making accusations. They were simply saying something felt off, like the pieces were not lining up properly. There was no outrage, no attacks, just confusion. Now, many believe Erika may be reaching a point where pretending everything is normal is no longer possible, because the cracks are becoming harder to hide.
She actually admits in the interview that during her pregnancy she hid, which is a weird thing to associate with pregnancy.
The internet has a way of zooming in when stories do not fully add up. Once that happens, every detail gets re-examined and every timeline gets questioned. Suddenly, people start asking things that were previously ignored, especially when there is a possibility the story was never real to begin with. Before anyone dismisses this as gossip, it matters how this conversation started. It did not come from hate or jealousy. It started with people searching for basic proof and finding nothing at all. That is when someone pointed out something that seemed obvious in hindsight. We have never actually seen Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk's children, or at least there is no clear public image trail that most people can find. That realization made many pause and say, wait a minute. From there, the situation became uncomfortable fast. Not because anyone was digging for dirt, but because they were simply looking for something normal. One photo, one clip, one moment where Erika Kirk is clearly pregnant and visibly expecting.
You know, I had been to Romania and teamed up with the Marine Corps to open up and sustain an orphanage with 75 beautiful children.
That is where the story starts to feel truly strange. The deeper people looked, the clearer it became that nothing was there. No candid photos at events, no random footage, no interviews showing her pregnant and glowing, nothing. The only thing that ever surfaced was an ultrasound image, and an ultrasound alone does not prove much. Anyone can post one, and without proper context, it tells very little. Then another detail surfaced that made the situation even messier. By the time that ultrasound image appeared, Erika was already married to Charlie, which did not line up with earlier timelines people remembered. That was the moment curiosity turned into serious side-eye. Not accusations, not conclusions, but unanswered questions. He was clearly in the picture at the time, which is why the next detail became impossible for many people to ignore.
Okay, so Erika Kirk posted a video, and in it she has a photo of her ultrasound. She's kind of showing her pregnancy, and something that stood out to me was in the top corner it listed her as Erika Franzve and not Erika Kirk.
The name on the ultrasound was not Erika Kirk. It was Erika France, her maiden name, and that immediately made people pause. Later, Erika Kirk posted a video showing the ultrasound image as proof of her pregnancy. But what stood out was not the image itself. It was the name in the corner. Instead of Erika Kirk, it read Erika France. In some versions, viewers even noticed slight variations, like Erika Bronze, which only deepened the confusion. To be fair, there could be reasonable explanations. Medical records do not always update immediately, and names can lag behind paperwork. On its own, that detail might not mean much. But when timelines are already being questioned, small inconsistencies like this make everything feel more complicated. Then came the moment that really made people stop scrolling.
Has allegedly 2 kids that we seem to never see, who may or may not exist. They're 2 kids who are not seeing their father again. She doesn't think that's a sacred time.
Erika has openly said that she hid during her pregnancy. She described that period as sacred, saying she wanted to stay out of sight, eat burgers in peace, and enjoy the moment privately. And choosing privacy during pregnancy is not unusual. No one criticizes that decision. But here is where people noticed a sharp contrast. After Charlie Wazuna lived, that privacy disappeared completely. Suddenly, Erika was everywhere. Interviews, podcasts, panels, public appearances, back-to-back with no break. That shift made people ask an obvious question. Why disappear during pregnancy, but become highly visible immediately after tragedy? Once the explanation of privacy stopped satisfying people, the surrogate theory resurfaced. Not in a malicious way, but in a way that seemed to explain several gaps. To be clear, surrogacy itself is not the issue. No one has a problem with that. What makes people uncomfortable is the possibility of pretending to be pregnant when that was not the case.
Wow, it just dawned on me, we've never seen Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk's kids, or at least I haven't.
That is the point where everything changes. Once that possibility came back into focus, the internet did what it always does. It went back and reviewed everything with fresh eyes. Old clips, old photos, old timelines. That is when people noticed another unsettling detail. No one has ever clearly seen the children's faces. Not publicly, not casually, not even in passing. Once that realization set in, the questions grew louder. Every photo shared tells the same story. Faces covered, blurred, turned away, or completely hidden from the camera. Because of that, people could not compare facial features at all. They were left judging basics like size, hair, posture, and development. That lack of clarity already made people uneasy. Then things escalated fast when a side-by-side image went viral.
Father, when you become a mother, how are you raising your kids? Are you taking responsibility, or are you giving them a device and saying, go down that rabbit?
The post claimed the babies were close in age, only weeks apart, not months. But visually, the comparison told a different story. People immediately noticed the mismatch. One baby appeared bigger, more developed, with darker hair and an older appearance. The other looked smaller, lighter-haired, and clearly younger. That is when people stopped and said, hold on. According to the public timeline, this was supposed to be the same child. Same baby, same age, same story. Suddenly, people began asking questions they had avoided at first. Are these two different children? Were older photos reused? Was there a swap made under the assumption no one would notice? No one is claiming definitive answers. That matters. But when visuals do not align with the narrative, people start questioning everything, especially when there are reportedly two children who are never clearly seen and who, according to the timeline, will never know their father.
I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed. I was growing a human inside of me. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae. That's what I want to do.
That alone made people pause. Then the conversation shifted again. If pregnancy was considered sacred enough to hide, why does that logic not apply now? These are infants. This is early childhood, a time most parents fiercely protect. Yet Erika has remained constantly visible. Podcasts, interviews, panels, back-to-back media appearances with little downtime. That level of exposure raised a simple but uncomfortable question. If she is always on the move, then who is actually with the children? Parenting young babies is not something you check in and out of. It requires time, presence, and consistency when no cameras are around. Once that question surfaced, the discomfort only grew. From the outside, many people feel they are not seeing that level of hands-on parenting right now.
We haven't been dating long. There are some key things that are like the pillars of our relationship. One of them obviously being our...
Another theory began gaining traction online, and this one pointed in a completely different direction: Romania. People started questioning whether one or both children could have come from Romania through adoption. At first, it sounded like a fringe idea, but it picked up momentum after certain comments began circulating. Suddenly, it was no longer being dismissed outright. When people talk about access, they are referring to Erika's foundation work and her international involvement, which has been questioned in the past. That context matters because it explains why this theory even entered the conversation. To be clear, there have also been rumors online attempting to link Erika to a trafficking ring in Romania through her foundation. Those claims have not been proven, and there is no solid evidence to support them. That distinction is important. However, given the secrecy, the gaps, and the timeline issues already surrounding her, those rumors resurfaced, and people understand why they did, even without proof. Another question keeps coming up again and again. Does anyone actually know the children's names? That is what throws so many people off. Not a single detail has ever slipped out. No accidental mentions, no offhand comments, nothing. One viral comment summed it up perfectly, and that observation is what people cannot shake. Everything feels tightly controlled, like a narrative carefully managed from start to finish. When you stack that on top of all the unanswered questions, many stop calling it coincidence. That feeling is amplified by the fact that Erika has faced accusations of dishonesty before. For many people, that history makes it difficult to take her statements at face value. For example, Erika has publicly claimed multiple times that she never dated anyone before Charlie and that he was her first serious relationship. That idea became central to her public image. Later, it came out that this was not true. There were previous relationships, including JT Massey. Once that information surfaced, people began re-examining everything. When a claim that basic turns out to be false, it naturally raises questions about what else may not add up. Then there is the alcohol issue. Erika has repeatedly stated that she has never consumed alcohol, not even once. That has also been part of her public image. But when people revisited older footage, especially from her reality television days, the story did not hold up. There are clips showing her holding drinks and appearing in party settings where alcohol is clearly present. Once those contradictions are noticed, they are hard to ignore. Because of that, skepticism has only grown. There have also been long-standing claims that much of Erika's public persona is an act. Some have even alleged she used tear-inducing solutions before speeches to appear emotional. That claim has not been proven, but it has circulated consistently for months. When people step back and look at the full picture, the past false statements, the contradictions, and the tightly controlled image, it becomes harder for many to defend her version of events. That is why, for a growing number of people, the surrogate theory no longer sounds outrageous. To them, it feels more believable than the explanation they have been given. And that brings the conversation back to the children. If the pregnancy was not honest and if her presence as a parent does not match her public image, it is not surprising that people are asking whether the children are even with her now. Nothing meaningful has been confirmed. But the silence, combined with her history, is only fueling speculation. At this point, people are less focused on rumors and more focused on what is not being said. Until there is clarity, the questions are not going away. Now I want to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think people are reading too much into the inconsistencies, or are the unanswered questions impossible to ignore? If you found this breakdown helpful, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it so others can join the conversation. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.